We'll quickly move to Arpita, and Arpita has heavily. So I'll give a reference to the framework which you have said, three levers, which is all about at the upstream, in mainstream, and the downstream, where the design, reuse, and collection recycle mechanism fit the entire curve or fill all the gaps. So on the reuse part, Arpita, you have worked heavily and you have right use cases to work with a lot of FMCG companies. Um, what is your experience so far on that? How your journey so far, and what you have done differently to convince this organization that this is the next change which they can bring? Because it's not that easy to convince and look into the metal, then the conventional method of packaging, which is easily or readily available in the market. So that is one. And do you call it as a green packaging or alternate to the green packaging? How you place it? So over to you, Arpita.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, a lot of what we're doing at Amplepack is climate action oriented, and many points that Sandeep was actually talking about, we have tried to put into action. So we've tried to implement them. I'll just share my screen and go further, and just a minute. Okay, so what we are offering is packaging as a service. When you said that the barrier of entry with a brand or with the consumer participation, we're trying to reduce that barrier by offering packaging as a service. So it's less stress and less, investment, and also the risk of change lies with the brand. We've tried to take that up and offer two things separately, which is one is the packaging, of course. So we are manufacturing, designing, and manufacturing the metal-based packaging. We're also offering a reuse service platform because we realized that there was a gap. Somebody would opt for a metal container, which in some cases would make a lot of sense, but it costs a lot more if it's only for one-time use. And there's a gap. So no, the brand is not going to be able to get into the management of that container. That is why EPR is a little bit, the framework in any country, if you see, is a little bit broken because the links are broken. The marketer and the manufacturer, there is a certain thing that is missing, and we're trying to add to that. How it works is Amplepack is the manufacturing arm. Like I said, we've been designing these, several lines of containers for different sectors in the FMCG industry for the last 2 years, and also R&D with materials. We've come to the conclusion aluminium in most cases working really well for us, but there's also stainless steel, and there's also another set of materials that we're working with. So, and India Reuse is the platform that supports the container. So India Reuse is an open platform for the brands, for the end consumers. So we're trying to include consumer communication because that is also missing. And I think there is a huge activation with the consumers. I think everybody knows what's not working today because you can see the garbage around you can see the landfills around you. And I know Andrew's doing a lot of work in this particular area, in the recycling area, and that is why there has to be a mix of solutions. It can't be just one solution, and Sandeep pointed out that rightly. So we come in the reuse mix of the solutions. So India Reuse is a platform where brands can access all the data, or if they want to understand how the container is being reused, and the entire journey of the life cycle of the container is trackable and and that's how we push for returns through the consumer. So from filling and sealing to sales from regular channels. Then there's the empty container, and that's where the communication with the consumer comes in and the participation comes in, where they're easily able to return the container because nobody wants to spend, half an hour, especially in a country like India. We're focusing more on pickups, and for international markets, we're focusing on drop-offs and, and anyway, we're setting up hubs, decentralized hubs, which can act as collection centers or, midway homes for our containers. So we worked with first materials. So we wanted to bring about a change. We wanted to bring metal. We wanted to make it possible that metal, because it's infinitely reusable. Yesterday, Mr. Ghosh was pointing out that the term for this CES 20 is infinitely recyclable. We're adding one more, infinitely reusable, because I'm sure in any Indian home, you'll find a container from 20 years ago that's probably not even ours, probably the ex-neighbors, so it is a material that stays in the cycle, in the loop forever. But the only issue is, providing the entire framework for it to travel around, come back, be recycled, be sterilized and put back into a reuse cycle. And especially, so once we moved from materials, we decided that we want to work with metals. Then we started designing, keeping in mind the consumers as well as the brands. So there are several stakeholders in this relationship. When a brand is opting for a reusable container, there is a challenge because the consumer should be ready. And I really think that consumers are ready because there has been an establishment of the problem, and the consumers nowadays are willing to pay even a premium to opt for a sustainable product. So that works in our favor. And once that entire burden of reuse and the sustainable, the packaging management is taken upon by, another entity, it's much easier for people to commit to sustainability, right? Because it's not easy to build the entire ecosystem. So we've been working on that from our end. We've also worked on the pricing to make it inexpensive. Of course, there is no comparison to plastic. It would be an impossible task to, get metal packaging down to the price of plastic. But we worked on pay-per-cycle leasable options where we're offering large-scale FMCG packaging on a leasable option, and we manage the entire packaging. So it's packaging management. Next comes the reuse service. I already explained that it's a platform for facilitating return and reuse. So we've dedicated, and that is why we set up a separate, an outlet for setting up reuse, so that it's easy for the consumer. It has to be really, really easy. It has to be at one click. So it's got to be, so you could pick up a container from Delhi and you should be able to return it if you're traveling and you're out and you want to return an empty container. You should be able to return it anywhere else in the country. So we've set up a countrywide framework for reusability. Of course, we're starting off with, a few test brands, so on a smaller scale, but we're hoping that this entire thing will be available and will be very, will work on the large scale as well very soon. So we've worked on design. So a portion of, the container stays, the branded portion stays with the consumer. And that's where a lot of things like brand loyalty come in. So we're working on ways that we can integrate communication from the brand to the consumer. So a portion of it that stays with the, at the point of use is branded, and only the refills are the ones that are returned, sterilized, and put back into action. And we're hoping that this cycle continues for, at least 50 times to make it viable for everybody, for, investors as well as for the brands as well, and actually for the earth, right, for the planet, to make it actually sustainable. And we're planning to offer these kind of containers in the regular sales channels, whether it's general trade, your kirana stores or online sales, it doesn't matter. We don't want to push with so much of a buying behavior at one go, because I think that we'll face a challenge there. Again, for EPR compliance, like I said earlier, there is a missing link, because there is a manufacturer of the plastic material. Then there is the marketer that uses or buys that plastic or, non-bloated kind of a capsule. And that's when the, filling happens. So is the marketer really responsible, or is the manufacturer of the plastic responsible to collect the containers? And because of that broken link, the entire burden is, on the local municipalities. So that we're trying to mitigate waste at source, and that is why we're build this entire framework. Again, we are working on introducing or policies that can support metal-based packaging. Currently, the framework doesn't support it. There is only plastic classifications. So if this has to come in a big way, then we will need to push for policy changes, and it really would help if that happens very quickly. And if there is, so there are sectors that cannot do without plastics, like I think I would say healthcare. Single-use plastic is a no-brainer. It's always going to be there unless we really come up with materials that are natural and and it's workable on a large scale. And of course, all together with all the solutions put together, working on waste mitigation on the whole. These are, I'll just run you quickly through what kind of products we've created and for what kind of markets. So institutionalized sales of bottled water. So we've created a framework for that. For dairy industry, so for daily milk deliveries, where the manufacturing is happening, say about 20 to 30 or 50 kilometers in that radius. We've also created the outer packaging because, like I said, our refills are coming back, and that's why we need to make sure that there's less damage, there's less impact during the logistical journey. And for hotels, so for the amenities and the toiletry packaging for hotels, and for mainstream FMCG. I'll just run you through one example of what we had created for. Actually, we were about to, start the installation with the top hotels in the country, the top chains, and I'll just run you through what we were going to do. And of course, COVID really doused the fire on our plans. So here is a dispenser, if you can see, that gets installed at the hotel. And of course, we can customize it, we brand it, all of those things. And the refill is what we supply, and we supply that to the brand that is supplying the toiletries to the hotel. So the refill goes to the toiletry manufacturer, the dispenser is installed at the hotel, and it's a really easy to use refill. So we've kept all the stakeholders in mind at this point, because there's a very little time that is available for housekeeping staff to redo the room, and they're always at a challenge. So, if we would offer a regular, just a dispenser, which has to be filled with a 10-liter jar, it was a no-brainer. That's not happening because, spillage, and you don't want to be wasting that much of time and carrying around so much stuff. So we've designed this entire outer packaging that contains all the refills. So all you got to do is, rotate, screw the screw cap and put the refill in, keep the empty refill back into the crate, and that's it, you're done. So, it doesn't take time. And of course, the hygiene factor, when you have a large container that you want to refill in, of course, once it's opened, again, all of those things come into play. So these are sealed refills so the empty refills that get collected at the hotel, we collect them, we, collect them in bulk, sterilize them, and send them back to the manufacturer of the toiletry. So this was the entire.
Last 1 minute.
Yes. Yeah.
Last 1 minute for you.
Okay. I'm actually done. So